Director of Math, Engineering, Technology, and Science Academy, METSA, at R.L. Turner High School in Carrollton, Texas. Your question about the importance of Capstone for my students. All throughout the 4 years, we use project-based learning. And in the beginning, the teachers are developing the projects and the students are actually following their task list or project plan to complete the projects. As they get older, they have an opportunity to modify their projects and really put a lot more into what they want the advanced portion of the rubric to look like. But really very seldom they actually work on a project from start to finish. And we felt like in a 21st century skills school, it's very important for students to really experience owning a project from start to finish and being able to use all the skills that they have learned for the past 4 years and implement it towards something that will benefit our community as a whole.
Hi, I'm Carl Gescheidel. I teach the Capstone course here at R.L. Turner High School's METSA Academy, and so I'm the Capstone facilitator. At our academy, it's the culmination of their 4 years of engineering work, so it allows them to put their skills to work in a meaningful way that can benefit the community.
I'm Michael Yakubowski. I'm the coordinator at the STEM Academy here at Coppell High School. The Capstone Projects give our learners a chance to put a bow on everything they've done. They've been working on engineering and working in their core classes and with the STEM program for 4 years now, by the time they graduate. And this gives them a chance to take all of that, put it together into a final package, really show what they've learned and how it all ties together, and they get to do something real. Our Capstone Projects, they're usually doing something that makes a difference, either something in the community or something here at school where they get a chance to give back to the community. For instance, we've done a wall for our special ed department, our activity room, and we've got some learners who are really severely challenged, and they built a wall that has different manipulatives and activities for them to do. They took everything off the tabletops and just put it into a wall where it's a little more modular and easier for the learners to work with. And that really gave our kids a chance to give back and also, though, practice what they've been learning and actually use it for something.
Great. My name is Elaine Marchant. I'm the principal at High School High STEM in Louisville, Texas. And I feel like the Capstone Project is really important because it allows the students to be creative, inventive, and get them involved in the community. I think that it serves a great purpose to allow our students to be able to grow and to be able to have a vision and an insight into what really the real world is about.
My name is Casey Barton, and I am the assistant principal at Jackie Singley Academy's STEM Academy. For me, the capstone is an accumulation of the 4 years that they've been in high school. You know, they've studied starting as freshmen, they've looked at either engineering or information technologies, and they've studied for 3 years. And for me, the capstone is their demonstration of the skills that they've gained in those 3 years. So it's, to me, the highlight. It's a huge deal their senior year.
Getting the community involved is really easy. They really want to do things. So if the capstone's meaningful, if it's got a purpose to them and it matters to the community, it's really easy to get them involved. We have several companies also in the area that really want to get involved with next year's capstone. And we're tying it with things that industry does, so that their people at their company, they can be mentors on this project and help the learners along. So there's a reciprocal benefit for everybody, and that makes it really easy to get them involved. All you got to do is ask.
When getting students involved in a capstone project, it's always good for them to have some outside feedback. We have an advisory board that gives us consult on what's out there in the community. We also have the opportunity to let the students go out and check with the community to see what might be involved. Our students are making phone calls or getting involved with community leaders to see exactly what might be needed. It might be the parks and recreations in our local community. It might be shelters or other charitable entities in the community that they're able to contact. So if you have the pulse of your community and if you're able to get your students involved that way, then the feedback comes right back to you and they're able to get involved in that way.
Getting the community involved in the Capstone Project is important because I always refer to the Charlie Brown scenario where Charlie Brown's teacher sounds rah, 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 rah. And so by the time they're seniors, they've been listening to their teachers for 3 years, and it gets to be like, oh, sure, that's what, Ms. Barton always says. But when you have an actual engineer from Dell or a person from Microsoft sitting there next to them talking to them about their project, that person has FaceTime with them one-on-one, talking to them about their project, and that person has experience. It doesn't matter that to them, their teachers actually have real life experience also. This person is someone who's out there right now doing it, and you would think that they were spinning golden words because they can't get enough of what those people are saying. So I think the involvement of the community and getting them involved is important. And we do that through my teachers. My teachers have field experience. My teachers are out there meeting people. We're active in the chamber, and we're meeting people that are doing these things every day, and they're passionate about helping the teenagers. So I would say that that's important to get that community in here. The kids value that.
We have an advisory board that helps us with the strategic planning as well as the operational needs. So from the beginning, they've been instrumental in helping us coming up with the framework of our Capstone program. And in addition to that, as the kids register for the course and begin looking for opportunities in the community, if they get stuck, then we lead them towards communicating with our community members as well as our advisory board members to connect to the needs that are available in the community for them to do their project.
Beginning of the semester, they have about a 2-week window, since we only do a semester-long capstone. In that time, they have to find their own customer and find their own project. Obviously, the customer needs to want the project that the students are going to make, and it's up to them to go out and find them.
The students actually design and select their own projects based on their own interest. It's easy for a teacher to pick a project and say, you're going to do this, but you're going to have more buy-in if the student picks their own project. And they do that based on, they have to do some research. It has to be something that would help the community or help the world, and the student has to design it and start from, they have to present their proposal to their teacher, and then they're responsible for the entire phase of that project, the deadlines and working with their teachers and keeping up with their journals and things like that. But the students completely design and select their own projects based on their own interests and whatever their needs are, and matches their specialty that they've studied here on campus.
Many of our students may not realize that there's needs right here in our back door, or they may not realize that there are opportunities that they have access to. But with a little guidance and a little direction, they can go beyond our expectations.
Year, we meet with the students to talk about their internship and capstone so they can start really thinking and planning it out. And at that point, they have the freedom to start looking in the community to see what needs are out there that require an engineering solution or a solution in the strand that they are participating in. We have students that are in information technology, maybe they're in automotive or anything else, manufacturing. So they have to find something that they can utilize their skills. If they cannot come up with a community problem on their own, and we get a lot of requests from community members, then we will actually assign those or give them to the students as an option to see if they're interested in pursuing those, and they will begin contacting the customer to really understand the requirements and then begin working on the project if that's one of the things that they want.
Just people from our advisory board helping out, or we do an expo every year. We talk with companies, or just people when I start asking around, talk to school board members, or they talk with their parents, and people will come up with ideas in different companies in the area. Just people we know, people already involved with the school. We don't have to actually go very far outside of people who are already interested in what our learners are doing.
Well, I think from the beginning stages of the project, you have a good idea whether this project is going to be successful or not. How much thought process the student has put into this. Have they really identified a unique problem that requires an engineering solution? And if they're not really have thought it through, it's the teacher's responsibility to guide them through that process to make sure that the requirement phase is completed properly. When they actually move into the design phase, all of that is completed properly. And when they're actually moving into the building stage to finish the project, there's a lot of check and balances and make sure that that is done successfully. In the past, this is our third year of having Capstone Project. We've had many, many wonderful projects with success stories coming from the clients to us. We also have had some duds. Students think that I can just, swing it within the last 2 weeks of school, and it doesn't work that way. I had 1 year 3 of our students who actually worked for City of Carrollton who had a riff and they had lost the whole department, and they decided to take on 3 of our seniors to work on learning a piece of software and then utilizing that software to do operational analysis to see what streets within the city had the most amount of potholes as well as the most traffic to figure out which potholes needed to be filled first. And these students not only learned the software on their own and then completed the whole operational analysis that really required a bachelor's degree based on what the city was telling us. They finished it, presented to City Council, to the mayor, and their project was so awesome that they received commendation at the next council meeting, and I was there just witnessing that and the way the mayor was talking about how in the past, even the college students had not performed at that same level. Or some of our students who have decided to do projects for METSA and really improve this school. The quality of the project is awesome. Everybody talks about it when they come, wow, that's a high school student who designed that. How much engineering have they had before this? And then we've had duds that, the student decides to build a fancy bookshelf that rotates, but in the end it becomes just a regular bookshelf that you can actually pick up from Target. So, like I said, if you really are working closely with the student and you're guiding them, your projects should be successful as long as you're keeping tab on every milestone and making sure that the student knows what their responsibilities are.
So for us, the funding of the projects did actually kind of present a challenge. So what we've done is we've treated this like, okay, this is this person who has this idea and they are working on this project, and like any company or any individual who's starting up, they have to seek funding. And so our students, with the help of their sponsors, teacher sponsors, find individuals to sponsor their projects. A lot of times our community partners will come in and say, here's the money to help this project along, but the student is actually responsible for finding the funding for their own projects. And it gets pretty interesting on how they do that. And of course it has to be approved. We kind of have like a little panel that we formed, and myself, the teacher, another CTE teacher, and some of our advisory board members sit on this little panel, and the students come in and present their project idea, their plans on how they're going to obtain the funding, and then give us a rough idea of what their project calendar looks like.
Which they're going to face, especially in the second semester if they're doing